All right, you just want to get into it? You know, looking at that stack, I'm almost wondering if we should split the deck. What do you think about that?
I think this is going to be about 4 episodes. Right here. And this isn't even all of them. This isn't every...
What if we split it? I get half, you get half.
So the one thing, now I did not vet...
Should we be recording this?
Are we recording? Are we going?
We're recording.
To hell with them.
Okay, what's the deal?
Anyways.
Tell me what you were thinking.
So I didn't go through it all. So there's a ton of shit in here. And there's a bunch of sports tickets that we can just probably go through real quick.
All right, well, welcome to The Road, the Stage. Welcome to episode whatever it is.
7,953.
A few episodes back, we went through a bunch of tickets from my past.
And here's
my
the,
picks.
You went home.
Yes.
And you found, so I've got this little baggie, but you had this cute little Harry Potter tin box.
Yes, very cute, yes.
And you probably hadn't looked at those ticket stubs in how long?
Very long time.
Very long time, right?
Yeah.
So whereas this is still there's, tickets from just before the pandemic.
Can I feel this?
I've held on to stubs for a long time.
It's got some weight.
It's got some weight. And then think about how many shows, too, that are paperless now.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
I don't have. And the other thing that you'll notice is, and I can guarantee you won't find in here at all, and I think we've alluded to it a couple of times, that I've seen Motley Crew on occasion. I do have a poster at home that's got all 21 of my Motley Crew ticket stubs in the poster. So those are all missing.
Okay, 2 things.
Yeah, go ahead.
How are they on the poster? You just taped them on? Or is this some special thing that you can get done?
No, I did it myself. I just can't remember what adhesive I used.
And 21 times.
Yeah.
How? Explain that to me. Because Motley Crue, obviously a huge band. But 21 times, were they coming through Alberta every other year?
Here's the great part for people that don't know about living in Red Deer, which is directly in the middle of Edmonton and Calgary.
I see where this is going.
If there's a band you love...
Yeah.
You can double up pretty easily.
Right. Okay.
So a lot of that was, because honestly, if you go from, I saw Motley Crue the first time in 87 on the Girls tour, and then on the Dr. Feelgood tour, and then I didn't see them again until the early 2000s.
And you're still at 21 tickets.
In which case, yes, I went a little ballistic.
You went to their farewell show in LA.
Yeah.
Is that the only place you've traveled to outside of Alberta for a Motley Crue show?
No. Also went to the Shoreline Amphitheater in Mount View, just outside of San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Penticton. And the reason the Penticton show was we had a family vacation booked when the Edmonton Calgary dates were on.
Right. Okay.
So it just worked that I drove out to Penticton, saw that, turned around, came home, and then picked up the family and went on a road trip with them.
Okay, cool. Very cool. All right. Well, let's get into it.
I fully 100,000% expect to be made fun of a lot. I expect Ryan and Ryley to be laughing their asses off and rolling eyes at some, because there's stuff in here that whatever.
So how do you want to do it? Should we split it up?
Let me just say there's not one stub. I guarantee there's not one stub in here where you're going to be like, oh, damn, I wish I had gone to that show.
You don't think there's a single one?
I don't know that there's going to be a single one you're going to be envious of.
I call bullshit. All right, let's see it. Let's see. Break open.
Pete's Tick Picks.
I see a Broadway ticket. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna jump ahead.
I was just gonna say there might be. And that's God. You know what? Honestly, that's another one that is not in there. Is I saw Metallica at Webster Hall in New York.
Yes, right.
And that ticket stub is also part of the poster.
Yeah.
There's used to
old radio paraphernalia.
Radio name tags. I don't know. How do you want to do it? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let me grab this stack, and if something catches my eye for better or worse.
We'll just.
Okay, so right off the bat,
White Buffalo.
Oh my God.
White Buffalo. White Buffalo.
What the hell is this? It's a coin.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
Foo Fighters, Billings, Montana.
So it got to the point where normally I would buy a concert T-shirt as the souvenir.
Yeah.
But after a while, you look for something a little different.
Yeah,
to get.
for sure.
So,
for sure.
Foo Fighters had coins at that show, and I.
All right. Well, get to it. Let's see what's up.
There's not much. The Glorious Sons, the Contender Tour at Bose, which was back. That was part of the back-to-back nights, I want to say. October 29th was this one. So there should be an October 30th there. AC/DC, Commonwealth Stadium. This is 2015. And I want to say that's the year that they played Thunderstruck in a thunderstorm, which was pretty cool in Edmonton.
At Commonwealth. Right. Okay.
Foo Fighters, Def Leppard, John Fogerty.
Dear God. Okay, so some of these you've stolen the tickets of the people you went with. Like there's a stack of Paul McCartney tickets here. There's 3 of them for the same night.
I just bought them all.
You bought 3 seats.
I wanted to stretch out, relax. Oh God, here's an embarrassing one. I'll just put that one over there.
Does it start with an H?
Yeah.
6 letters. 6 letters. Starts with an H.
All right, fine. And I think we talked about this because Ryan, did you work the show?
We are talking. Okay, show the ticket. The ticket is. I saw it. It's Headley.
It's Headley. You did, yeah. Ryan worked that.
Producer Ryan worked that show.
This is Saturday, February 10th, 2018, and I believe it would have been like Monday, February 12th when all hell broke loose.
Right.
For that band. So,
well, their Red Deer show was like the last one, wasn't it?
They were. I want to say, and then they were in Medicine Hat. I think there was supposed to be a show in Medicine Hat.
We should say before alleged behavior
discrepancies,
accusations. Accusations. I'm curious about this one. January 2010, you went and saw Guns N' Roses on the Chinese Democracy Tour.
Yep.
Was it good?
Those, I saw the Chinese Democracy Tour a couple of times.
Oh, really?
And they were hit and miss. There was
like
one
a 5-year tour or something, right? Yeah.
There was one that actually wasn't terrible, and then the other one was hideous.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. Is that when he was upset that people were making fun of him?
You know what? Honestly, yes, that's right. That would have been right around that same time.
Axl put on a few pounds.
Does it have openers on? I forget.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Pengrowth Saddle Dome. Where the hell is that? Is that Edmonton? Is it?
Red Deer.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Pengrowth Saddle
Dome. All right. We're going through. You've got the gamut of classic rock, no doubt. You've seen Van Halen a number of times, eh?
Yeah, I think only like 3.
Okay. Only 3 times. All right.
Is there?
Ooh,
yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going through. You got anything else that's popping out there?
Well, I mean, just to show some different. There's Diamond Rio, from playing the Centrium during the Westerner days. You're gonna find some country in there, and just remember, I worked country radio for a lot of years.
Now,
so there's gonna be.
Don't know who Diamond Rio is.
Okay, that's fine.
Should I?
I think that's some pretty big 90s country hits. They did, yeah. I don't even remember being at this show. Brett Kissel and Tim Hicks.
Which was
a Westerner Day show. I don't remember that one at all.
More country.
Brad Paisley, which
I've seen that before. Incredible guitar player. We got a thumbs up from the studio or what? Okay.
Now, this one doesn't count as a concert per se, but it's fine. I hang on to everything. Oh, this is actually, okay, no, this isn't the exact one I was thinking of. A Long Time Running, which was the Hip documentary. But there was another, when the Hip released We Are the Same, they did a one night only screening in theaters.
Yes.
Where they did the tour of the Bathhouse and Strombo hosted, and I would give anything to see that again.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist.
It just doesn't exist. They took that one night only thing to heart. Evening with the Trues.
Okay, so yeah, there's a ton of tickets here from like the late 80s, early 90s. You've seen Aerosmith a number of times, eh?
Yeah.
Good show?
You know what? Honestly, yeah. And probably one of the more memorable ones, and one that I love bringing up all the time too, is they did the Root of All Evil tour with Motley Crue in about 2007, I want to say. So Motley Crue opened, Aerosmith headlined.
Damn.
And it's because I like all kinds of music and I love all kinds of rock. So that show is really split down the middle at the end of the night because Motley Crue came out and they're terrible live, right? Vince can't sing. They're not known for their musicianship.
Yeah.
But it was this big bombastic show, and they had like this fire-breathing dragon on the stage, and just the presence of everything was just very theatrical and wow.
Yeah.
But you could barely hear them and you could barely see them because it was so dark. And then Aerosmith comes out, and there's really next to nothing on the stage.
Yeah.
And it's just all pure musicianship. Right? And Steven Tyler's serenading a cappella to the crowd, and everybody's just wowed by it. So at the end of that night, you've got people like, oh, Motley Crue sucks. You couldn't even hear Aerosmith's better. And then you got people that are like, what? Aerosmith was so boring.
Boring. Yeah.
I'm like, why can't we have both?
Yeah. Well, I guess, I don't know. That is a strange pairing to me, though.
And rock fans do tend to get split like that very much, but yeah.
Well, this is one, speaking of a difference, in 1990, this is before I was born, by the way, Alice Cooper with Great White.
Oh, with Great White, yeah.
So
the place did not burn down.
Great White is not like a big theatrical band, right?
No, but you try to find somebody that is as big and theatrical as
Alice Cooper. I guess so, yeah. I mean, Motley Crue could have opened.
Yeah, but even at that time, Alice was still over and above just about anything that anybody else was doing.
So you got to see that whole like, vaudeville.
So that was the first time I would have seen the guillotine.
Oh,
he has a guillotine.
interesting.
Yeah,
I forgot
and I
about
remember
that. I forgot about that. Okay.
Oh man, there's so much country. I got the country stack over here.
Now, Metallica in 1989. Is that the first time you saw them?
That was Justice. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So that's.
do you remember it well?
Well, I made it memorable, and that's. Can I see that one? Yeah, that's okay. So, this ticket stub got me in a lot of trouble. Which I think maybe I've told you this story before.
It's a good story.
So
this is a classic concert story.
If you go back to 1989 and Justice for All had just come out, Metallica at that point is still the bad band, right?
Yeah.
Like just the kids from the wrong side of the tracks are listening to the thrash metal. They
They're
hadn't
all
quite
booze
crossed
hounds.
over.
Yeah,
They hadn't quite crossed over to the mainstream yet. It was, parents were scared of Metallica at that time, and my parents included. So they forbid me to go to that show.
Did they throw out a tape at the time, or
it was a different cassette?
Okay.
But yeah, along those lines.
Yeah.
So I'm 15 in 1989, 14, 15. So they forbid me to go to the show, and there was nothing that was going to keep me from going to that show. So we had this whole scheme cooked up that I was having a sleepover at a friend's house the night of the show, and I did. But my friend's buddies were his parents were going into Calgary that night.
Yeah.
So I hitched a ride with them into Calgary. Unbeknownst, they thought we were just tagging along for Calgary. They dropped us off and they were going to pick us up later.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy are in Calgary. He didn't even have a ticket for the show. I was meeting another friend.
Oh, okay.
We go into the show. So my friend whose parents are a part of this, unbeknownst, sits outside on the front steps of the Saddle Dome and hears the show. I'm in. I watch the show. Everything's great. Awesome. We meet his parents back up at the place we're supposed to meet them back up.
Yeah.
Go back to Didsbury. I do end up spending the night at his place. I buy a concert shirt.
Right.
But the next morning I go home and I'm like, oh, my buddy Jim was at the show. He
got me a shirt.
And my parents like, okay. So everything's good. I got away with it. Scot-free. However, that damn ticket stub I left in my jean jacket pocket. And of course, if as a 14, 15-year-old, you're not doing laundry. My mom does the laundry, goes through the pockets, and pulls out the stub. And I do vividly remember getting the trust talk.
Oh, okay,
After that.
because you're a dirty liar.
Dirty, filthy, stinking liar.
So did the ticket stub get washed?
No, she checked. She would check.
This is the ticket.
That is the stub. That is the stub.
They'd let you keep it.
I got to keep the stub, and I
Well,
must
you
have.
won.
I must have put on a happy face and batted the eyelashes.
Did you get
I got.
grounded?
I got grounded, and like I say, that's the most stern talking to I ever got as a teenager.
So I have to tell
But
you a quick story.
That is the stub.
My dad worked for a company that they had their name on. I forget what it's called. It was a Coliseum in Toronto, where the Toronto AHL team used to play.
Yeah.
And when I was, I think, like 16, maybe 17, found out that the Raconteurs were playing there. This is on their second album, Consolers of the Lonely. And my dad said, well, you know what? I'll get the box. So you can invite a bunch of friends, and we'll go see this band. And about 2 weeks before, boom, similar, not a ticket stub in my pocket in the wash, but a little bit of marijuana. And I did not go to the Raconteur show, which actually kind of worked out because last minute they had to change the venue. And they actually ended up playing at a club in Toronto. So we wouldn't have had the box anyways. But yeah, there was a solid week where I was like, wow, like I got busted with a little bit of marijuana and lost the opportunity to see this band that I can't stop listening to.
And you probably didn't see did you see the Raconteurs
Nope.
after that?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. No, I didn't. I did not.
Okay, that's a good detour. Here's another Metallica stub, this is the Commonwealth show in 2017, which I think you were.
Yes.
That's the one that you had to wrangle a bunch of crazy radio listeners.
Yeah, somehow you didn't end up having to wrangle listeners that time.
Nope.
You just went on
free
all
and
by
clear
yourself.
on that one. Garth Brooks, October 1993 at the Saddle Dome. So I'm going to say that's one of the first times that he would have.
Yeah, it seems really early.
Is that No Fences album? I think was 92.
I don't know anything about Garth Brooks, but 93 seems pretty early.
I do remember. So it was the same, and the other stuff might be around here somewhere too. Is I saw AC/DC on the Razor's Edge tour, and then about 3 weeks later, it was Garth on this tour. And I remember at that time going like, "This guy is going to be huge" because he put on every bit the rock show.
Really,
that AC/DC did, and the crowd was every bit as loud for Garth as they were AC/DC.
Man, people love. Hey, what are our producers' thoughts on Garth Brooks? Have you guys seen him before? Did you grow up loving him? Because that's what I've learned. There's a good chunk of Alberta that just like you're born here and you just Garth Brooks is the man.
Well,
Even
I'm
if you
telling
don't listen, like that Garth Brooks string of shows he did like 4 or 5 years ago. I know people who went to that show that listened to like just metal.
Yeah.
Like Garth Brooks has a huge reach.
Garth pulled in people that listened to all people that would never. And I mean, if you grew up around here, like in bush parties, like I mean, you couldn't avoid Garth through much of the 90s.
Man, there are so many tickets here.
I do have a lot of.
They weren't in too much of an order.
No.
Were they? Okay, good.
No. Yeah, there's so many hockey tickets here. Just a ton of Oiler games.
Oh boy.
Oilers and Stars. Oh, there's the World Wrestling Federation.
That's
2000
in Calgary.
Oh, that's 2002. That's here in Red Deer. I actually got to participate in the show.
Oh, right.
That one we did me and a guy from a competing radio station got to do an arm wrestling competition.
Right.
In the ring beforehand. There's another
interesting. How about Tool? So you saw Tool in 2017. Oh, that's pretty recent.
Pretty recent. You know the big takeaway that I had from that show, and I mean it is awesome because you spend the first 3 songs going like, where the hell's where's the front man?
Which has always been the biggest complaint I've heard about a live Tool show is that he is elusive.
Very elusive. You got to look for him. But the one thing that I thought was so funny about that show was like from the moment you came into the Saddle Dome, there's posters up on the doors that are saying, no video recording, no camera recording, very strict policy on no cameras.
Yeah.
We saw tons of people getting their cameras taken away from them during the show. They had it on like the LED ring about, no cameras. And then at one point in the show, Maynard's like, whatever you do in life, don't ever listen to authority. You do what you want to do. And I'm like, okay, click, click, click.
That's hilarious. What a guy. What a classic guy.
Kelowna Rockets versus the Calgary Hitmen. Like, I don't even know.
You got some fancy. The Darkness.
Did I see? I've seen The Darkness.
I thought you weren't a fan of The Darkness.
I mean, I'm not. But...
It's also signed to Peter. From some guy named Dan.
Where's that show at?
Whoa, what the hell is going on here? No, you've never been to England, have you?
No. I think somebody, that was a gift. I think somebody gifted me.
Peter Michaels saw The Darkness.
I saw The Darkness? I've
never seen the O2 Arena. Beautiful.
Heritage Classic, Flames and Habs.
Very fun.
There's the Jack White at the Stampede Corral. Which is the one where the phones went into the bags, right?
Oh, yeah,
you were in that one.
Yep.
On the other side. This is a favorite.
Okay. What do we got?
Merle Haggard.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Merle's no longer on
Merle's
this
no longer
earth.
with us. Row 6 on the floor at Skyreach Center, Edmonton, 2001.
Oh, wow.
So this is well into Merle's career.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was an amazing show.
Did you grow up with Merle Haggard?
Did we not mention him from Didsbury?
It was like something like did it seep down from your parents' listening habits, or was it just?
Honestly, that's a great question. I think it was more community because my dad definitely was not a country fan. My dad's an old hippie, so he was into all the counterculture 60s stuff for sure. So I think it was just seeped down. So I've got George Strait. I saw George Strait a bunch of times too because I love George. And with George Strait, he never toured Canada for a long, long time. And there was a lot of various rumors as to why that was.
Well, he was a bit of a bad boy, wasn't he?
Not necessarily George, but I think others in his band. He's got the Ace in the Hole band.
Oh, okay.
So I think I'd heard rumors that there were just certain band members that weren't allowed to make the trip. So he just never did. So in 1997-ish, he was playing in Billings.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a group of us that decided we're going to drive to Billings to go see him because he never comes to Canada.
Billings, Montana.
So we took a couple of days to drive down there, took it nice and slow. Morning of the show, which I think was a Saturday, we get up and some friends that we were with come knocking on the hotel room door and they're like, you guys aren't going to believe it. We just turned on the radio. The show's canceled.
Oh.
What? So I phoned the radio station up and he's like, yeah, he was coming from Wyoming and his trucks got stuck in a snowstorm in Wyoming and couldn't make it. So they canceled the show.
And what did you do? You just turn around and go home?
We got blitzed in Billings.
That's why you like Billings so much.
We had a very good time that night.
Yeah, man, you have a much deeper knowledge for country than I think I ever.
Yeah, well, as I'm looking over
I ever
here,
imagined.
Alan Jackson, Sawyer Brown, Mark Chestnut, Vince Gill, Another
Who the
Alan
hell is Mark?
Jackson.
Is that Mark Chestnut, a Christmas
He's
musician?
one of the Chipmunks.
The Chipmunks.
Don Williams, who I think we've brought up Don Williams before, and you have no idea who Don Williams is. But
Uh,
he's not quite haggard, but
American Pie.
okay, him.
No, okay.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. That one's
Right, and
Good
that
one.
was
I
that
like
was
that one.
recent.
that one's 2014.
Okay,
I did see him twice. I forget when the other time was.
my mom ended up seeing him on that last tour, and I'm very glad that she did.
Man, there's more Garth. Holy crap!
What was
how many
Vince
times have I
Neil
seen-
of Motley Crue with special guest? So you've got Vince Neil, singer, the only singer for Motley Crue.
No, John Corabi took over in 1994
Okay.
with what some will call Motley Crue's best album because they actually had a guy that could sing.
Oh wow, and this is 2004. So what was Vince Neil doing solo in 2004?
I don't remember.
Just doing Motley
He
Crue songs.
probably doesn't either.
Yeah, fair enough. I saw he's doing like he's getting fat sucked out of him or something.
yeah.
I don't know what the hell that's called.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. There's some money exchanging hands there for sure. Muse.
Oh yeah.
That
Which-
Muse show was great. That
So-
was absolutely phenomenal. Later again, that was 2017 at the Budweiser stage.
But that was also kind of your like that was the first time you'd really experienced them, right? Like you hadn't really listened to them too much before the show.
Not a ton, obviously. Like familiar with Knights of Sidonia and some of the bigger stuff as
Yeah,
well. But
yeah.
I hadn't really ever delved like deep into
Yeah.
Muse. But after that night, I sure did.
I was a huge fan of Muse in high school, and when I first started dating my girlfriend, about a month into us dating, it was her birthday, and they were playing in Calgary, and I was kind of like, pretty sick that we should go see this band for your birthday, and she had no interest, and then within a few months started listening to Muse, and we still talk about it to this day.
Yeah, that is
Huge
one.
regret.
That
Huge
is
regret.
one band that I would never miss.
Yeah,
And that's the
incredible.
only time I've seen them. But
Yeah.
I know for sure I would never miss that show. again. And that
Unreal
was with-
musicians, like
I
unbelievable.
forget the name of the opening band was. They had like a backwards letter in their name. Like they were Paris, but
Right, I
the Paris was
remember
the
that.
upside
It
down.
looked like Purist.
Purist.
Yeah.
And then 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, there's
Sloan at Bose. Oh, here's AC/DC with LA Guns, 1991.
LA Guns like
And
old
now-
punk, or is that just straight up rock?
No, so LA Guns was actually the precursor to Guns N' Roses.
Oh,
So Guns N' Roses originally was Axl Rose and Tracy Guns,
Oh, okay.
and then they split and went their separate ways. But this one's funny. I should bring this for you, Ryan, and just to hear the audio recording of it. We snuck a tape recorder in, a cassette recorder in for the. So I actually have this show bootlegged on a cassette at home. And it's so funny. There's one part we always joke about this because my buddy was getting ready to light some paraphernalia at the Saddle Dome. So all you can hear in the background of this recording is you just hear him going, "Are you gonna light it? Yeah, man, I'm gonna light it. What? Are you gonna light it now?"
That's so
But
funny.
it sounds so terrible. I can't even remember what kind of recorder we would have had, but some actual cassette thing that we had snuck in there. Rural Alberta Advantage and Yukon Blonde is an all-time favorite.
Yeah.
That one was at the Memorial Center.
Oh, I don't. No, I wasn't there for that one.
That's 2017.
That has got to be one of my favorite shows at Bose. Was Rural
Was
Alberta
Rural?
Advantage.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about it with Dan Mangan last week, but that time I saw him back in 2011. I remember thinking during his show, like, I could mosh right now. Like, there was something so, like, loud and heavy about some of the songs that he was playing. And I feel that way about Raw as well. Like, they just go for it. That drummer hits those drums hard.
I don't know that there's another drummer out there that does what he does.
Yeah,
And just like
fantastic.
constant fills too, right? Like there's never just a steady,
Yeah.
like always fills.
Far from basic.
There's another Brad Paisley.
My God, look at this table. That's what we should do with these tickets. We should lacquer this
Lacquer 'em all
table.
up. I don't know. At some point, I got to do something with them, right? You
All right.
over there already?
I have selected some takeaways. First of all, I think a lot of people would be jealous that you got to see Judas Priest in 1990.
Not just Judas Priest. Judas Priest. Now, are they all on there?
No, it's just
Oh.
Judas Priest.
It was Judas Priest, Megadeth.
Whoa.
I want to say Anthrax was on.
Wowee. Hello.
Megadeth and Judas Priest for sure. And I want to say Anthrax might have been on that bill. You'd think I'd remember that. I do. The thing I take away from that show that I remember the most is just Halford came out on a bike.
Right.
So it's everything just goes black, and then all of a sudden you just hear this bike fire up, and you just see this one single headlight, and then Halford comes riding out. Because I think those were good seats too, right? Are they floor?
These are floor seats. Yep.
What row?
Row 12
Yeah. So and back in those days,
for $25.
row 12 would actually end up being like row 5, right? Because as soon as the lights go down, everybody rushes forward.
Right.
Cinderella with Slaughter.
Cinderella was like early 90s, late 80s, like hair rock.
Some good hair. Iron Maiden.
Robert Plant and the Strange Sensation. So 2005. So he's doing just purely solo stuff, right?
He did. I remember for sure he did Gallows Pole that night. He might have done like 3 Zepp tunes.
Was it a boring concert?
Honestly, it was not the most exciting show, unfortunately. Oh, here, you'll like this one.
Oh, Kid Rock on the Born Free Tour 20 years ago, May 2011. Wow. Did you like that one?
I think I went. I think does it say the Trues opened?
No.
I think I went for the Trues. I'm pretty sure the Trues opened that show.
The Trues opened for Kid Rock?
The Trues opened for Kid Rock, yeah.
Wow. So this one, 2010, 11 years ago. Do you remember what concert you saw 11 years ago in July? July 2010. You did travel for it.
Does it give it away if I say or if you say where?
Yeah.
Okay.
San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, that's
Paul McCartney for what? How many times have you seen Macca?
Macca just like 5, but that was the first.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's honestly where the love of San Francisco for me began.
Crazy.
On that particular trip, because for that show I'd never seen McCartney and grew up. My dad was a massive Beatles fan, more so a Lennon fan.
Yeah.
But massive Beatles fan, and I was like, how many more opportunities are there going to be? My wife and I hadn't done a vacation together since our honeymoon in 2000, so it'd been 10 years since we'd gone anywhere. So I said, let's go see McCartney, and then we're just looking at the list of dates that he had, and my wife likes hot destinations, so I'm like, oh, California, let's go there.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, that San Francisco is not the hot part of California, which I know now. Anyways, so we went and saw McCartney there. That show was mind-blowing. I think we talked about it with Dan Mangan about the Hey Jude sing-along was.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just began my love affair with that city.
April 2003 at the Skyreach Center. What the hell is the Skyreach Center in Edmonton?
What? Rexall Place.
Okay.
Or Northlands Coliseum.
Avril Lavigne with special guests.
I took my niece to that show.
Very nice. That was a very quick excuse there.
Uh-huh.
Motley Crue, the final tour, a cautionary warning for any fan of a band that decides to quit and wrap it up with a big old final bang.
Right, and it's right there in bold letters, right?
The final goddamn tour.
This is it. You will never see us again.
But a year and a half later, or 2 years later, they decided to rip up that contract that they signed. Nah, it was a few years later.
So that I did lie. So there is. You know what? Actually, that's probably a duplicate. Because I do have that one. Is that the LA one? That's the Staples Center one?
Right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, and look at those seats.
Yeah, they're crazy. I mean, that was a pricey ticket.
Yeah.
That was
never.
They made their money on that tour.
Never mind the 24-hour drive there and the 24-hour drive back.
Yeah.
And this one is a favorite memory as well. This is Velvet Revolver.
Oh.
And same thing. To that point, I'd never seen Guns N' Roses, and I'd never seen STP. So really, it was just an exciting trip to go and see Scott Weiland and Slash.
Scott Weiland, Slash, and someone else was in that band, wasn't it?
I think Matt Sorum was the drummer.
What was the band that Tom Morello was
Kushner?
in?
No, that's Audioslave.
Oh, Audioslave. Right.
Dave Kushner, I think, was also in Velvet Revolver. But the key component to the Velvet Revolver show is, what's the date on that?
October 16th, 2007.
I got married on October 16th, 1999.
Oh.
So this was
our anniversary show.
So this was an anniversary show.
But your wife didn't go.
What's that? This one's Edmonton. You went to the Calgary show?
Producer Ryan saw that show in Calgary.
So it's it was our 8th anniversary.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never seen Scott Weiland or Slash.
Yeah.
It's 8th. It's not. If it was the 10th anniversary, I probably would have passed. But I vividly remember with that show, and Ryan, you might too. It starts with they had the curtain over top of the stage, and then Straight Outta Compton starts playing, And then they just have Slash standing there and the backlight behind him. So all you get is this massive silhouette of Slash on the curtain, the top hat, the cigarette, everything's perfect. Straight Outta Compton is playing. And then boom, that curtain came. Oh, yeah. That was worth any trouble I had at home. I did end up making a trip to a jewelry store after that show. That is very true.
This one's kind of cool, and I really like the ticket. But Friday, December 20th, 2013, at the VAT in Red Deer, Alberta, One Bad Son.
Oh, there's One Bad. Yeah, there's another.
Presented by 106.7 The Drive.
There's a few One Bad Son stubs.
They have some cool tickets.
Def Leppard and Styx, Ozzy and Rob Zombie, which I also saw Rob Zombie
and Alice Cooper. I just saw that one. Yeah.
Which was, I think, the Gruesome Twosome tour, they called that.
So 2010 at the Jack Singer Concert Hall in Calgary, you saw Who's Live Anyway.
Oh.
So whose line is it?
Whose Line? Yeah.
And was it
Colin Mockery, Ryan Stiles? I forget, like Brad Sherwood might have been there. I think Wayne Brady.
Drew Carey?
No, Drew.
Oh, okay.
But they tour around quite a bit and they mix it up. Colin and Ryan were usually a part of the show.
Okay. That would have been funny.
Alice Cooper at the Centrium in Red Deer, so we did have Alice Cooper.
Very cool.
In Red Deer once upon a time.
I think that this was a pretty big tour. Maybe I'm wrong. Gigantour?
Well, it depends. There's a few Gigantours.
Was this with Metallica?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's the big. You're thinking of the big four.
Okay.
So Gigantour. I remember there was one. Was Megadeth and Motorhead were the two headliners. I forget.
You saw Motorhead?
I did see Motorhead.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Everything louder than everything else.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They don't make that shit up. There's my other Tom Petty. So another Petty was 2008 and 2014. Metallica, An Evening with Metallica, May 22nd, 1992. So that would have been the Black Album.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been right when they were completely kicking ass. Bon Jovi, 1989.
So like the height of his fame?
The height, that's the New Jersey with Skid Row.
I'm very curious about this one because I used to think that this band was the absolute worst. The worst. And it's funny that this comes up now because we're talking to Dan Mangan about that Comedy Bang Bang podcast that I discovered thanks to him.
Yeah.
An offshoot of that podcast is it's like a 4 or 5 year podcast about U2 called Talking U2 to Me. So you saw U2, the 360 tour, 2011, so 10 years ago. Is that the only time you've seen U2?
The only time I saw U2, and that ended up being an extra ticket that my niece had.
Oh.
Because I really didn't have much interest in seeing U2.
Yeah.
And so they had that ticket and called me. I might even have been the day of the show or maybe the day before the show. And we're like, we got this extra ticket. And I'm like, I guess I should probably say I've seen U2.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it at one point during one of these shows as well, that there's only 2 concerts I can remember ever walking out of.
Oh, God.
And the one was the Nickelback show where we had all kinds of goo spilled on us. And the other was that U2 show.
You walked out.
So, and I went with my niece and her, I might have been boyfriend at the time, but husband now. Maybe they were married already by that time. And they were, it was getting down to the end of the night and we knew it was, I forget what song they were even playing, but they wanted to get a beat on the crowd.
Okay, so it was a mutual.
And normally I would never leave a show early.
Yeah.
But they wanted to get really wasn't the show I was there for. So I'm like, yeah, okay.
Was there any part of you that appreciated that show? Because through listening to that podcast, I'm not like a U2 listener, but I appreciate what they've accomplished in their history.
I mean, for sure, I can say that and it's a spectacle, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Like there's however many stages they had 3 of those suckers that would leapfrog each other.
Yeah, something like that.
Took 18 days to set up one of them. So the sheer magnitude and spectacle of it, definitely respectable.
Yeah. But you're not going to see them again.
I saw them
again.
No, I've seen them.
You've done it.
Most bands,
you've done it,
as you'll see. I see multiple times.
They get more attention than just one show.
Like there's another AC/DC.
Jesus.
I've got and there's more of these. I don't know where all of these went because this is another thing that we talk about sometimes is like especially with Canadian bands.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go see them. Whatever. I'll see them in 6 months when they come back around again. And then eventually it gets to the point where you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So this is like there's the Tragically Hip in 09, the Tragically Hip in 07, the Tragically Hip in 04. I did figure it out one night. I saw the Tragically Hip 15 times.
Wow.
But there were lots of times where I didn't go because you knew they were going to be back very soon. And I regret that number should be 50 times.
If only you thought about that when you went to the Motley Crue final tour.
Yeah, right.
This one I think might might resonate with producer Ryan, but May 10th, 1998. Where the hell is the Centennial Auditorium? Calgary?
Centennial Auditorium of Saskatoon?
1998. C95 presents.
I'm going to say Saskatoon, and I'm hoping.
Yeah, do you know what it is?
I'm hoping this is Matchbox 20.
It is Matchbox 20.
All right, there's Matchbox 20.
There was a conversation a couple weeks ago about a mutual love for Matchbox 20.
I will not hold back at all.
Is there a reason to dislike Matchbox 20? I've never really listened to them.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about it last week or whenever that was, but I mean, there's a stigma around Matchbox 20. They're pretty light.
They like the smooth jazz of rock music.
I mean, kind of. And it was during that whole phase in rock, if you go to that late 90s, where, you know, you did have on that one side, you had like Korn and Limp Bizkit, and some of that stuff was really kind of starting to get going. And then on the flip side, in rock, you had the Goo Goo Dolls and Matchbox 20 and Tonic and Better Than Ezra and all these really pretty soft rock bands that were kind of taking over the scene a little bit.
Did you ever see Limp Bizkit?
No, I never did see Limp Bizkit.
I thought he was going to say yes. I would have been a little jealous about that.
No.
Okay, this one, I'm glad you have this because I really wish I had my ticket stub for this because for some reason for the last 10 years I haven't really cared about ticket stubs at all. But maybe I shouldn't say this, but I feel like this was kind of an important landmark moment for Red Deer music, for live shows in Red Deer. It was 2016.
Oh.
We had July Talk at Bose.
Yes.
And
that's 2016?
Yeah, man. That was everything about that night was like insanely memorable and just it was just incredible. Yeah. Like that was it was wild. I imagine that was a sold out show.
Leia had taken all the hats, right? She collected hats from all the guys.
I forgot about that.
And stacked the hats up on top of her.
I think Peter ended up on the bar.
Peter was back at the bar, and I think Leia ended up going through the crowd a whole bunch of times too. But yes, that was one of those nights that 5 years later people will still talk about and remember.
Totally.
Yeah, and that I think was one of the first shows. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, if you remember, but July Talk was one of the first shows that sold out pretty much instantly, right? Like we're talking seconds for that one to sell out. Big wreck also? Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember that being like, because I'd been in Red Deer for, if that was 5 years ago, I'd been in Red Deer for a year and a half already. And I don't know, I just had a feeling that shit was starting to pop off here.
Yeah. And if you go back probably maybe a year or 2 years before that show, July Talk played at, I don't know if it was International Beer House at the time, but it was in that building. July Talk played there because they were just starting to break at radio.
Yeah.
And I remember having their radio rep be like, you got to see this band. Like you've got it. Like they didn't have anything on the air yet.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to July Talk the first time going, geez, like I just don't know if his vocals are going to I don't know if people are going to latch onto that. So I remember I had the choice to go to that show that night, or I had a bunch of friends that were meeting somewhere else. And I brushed off that July Talk show and went somewhere else and deeply, deeply regret that. But that was not the first time that they played Red Deer.
No, but it was a momentous.
But that is a momentous, I mean, the scene was building.
Yeah.
And, to have the doors kicked wide open, that July Talk show is probably responsible.
Producer Ryan, were you working sound that night? No, you were just a stagehand of sorts. Yeah, no, that was incredible. I think I still dream about that concert from time to time.
They were pretty particular about everything. I remember we had done a contest and had winners at the sound check.
Sound check, yeah.
And I remember having my phone out just to get a couple of pictures of some video of the winners there.
Right.
And it didn't take long before somebody from their tour was like, not during sound check.
I remember when they had, I think it was their first radio single rather. I don't remember which song it was, but I remember some guy I was working with at the time was like, this band sucks.
I think Guns and Ammunition was the first one that
was it
blew up, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, and he was just like, he sounds a lot like Tom Waits. It sucks. I was like, how dare you insult two great musicians, two great sounds.
I definitely am totally okay being wrong with that one. I didn't think it was going to fly.
Yeah.
I just didn't think.
Yeah, their live show is fantastic.
They're amongst one of the best for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty cool, and I didn't know this thing existed. You didn't like make this. This isn't like a bootleg, the Hip Club card.
No, there's very few fan clubs that I have actually joined, but the Hips is definitely one of them.
So what did this, what was this? What did it do?
It got you access to tickets early, I think.
Okay.
Discounts on merch.
Crazy.
I think.
Was it like a yearly subscription or?
You know, I honestly can't remember with that one. I would bet it was probably a yearly subscription.
I have a buddy that was a member of it's called The Warehouse, the Dave Matthews Band like fan club. And, you know, there's perks and you'll get like a show poster or some sort of trinket from the tour of the year or whatever. And he had done it for years and years and years, and you get early access to tickets and stuff. But at some point I think he realized like this isn't like I'm not saving anything for my 10 years of going to see this guy 4 or 5 times a year. I'm getting ripped off even when it comes to the pre-sales, and I don't know if he's a fan club member anymore.
Well,
so.
I think that might be a reason why fan clubs don't really necessarily exist anymore.
Yeah.
But there are Patreons, and you do, right? I mean, that is the whole evolution of it.
You're a Patreon member, right? You're a patron?
I'm a patron.
To a fella that's
there's a few of them in here somewhere.
Stacked in here somewhere. There we go. There's one. The White Buffalo. The White Buffalo. Not wearing a White Buffalo shirt today.
Damn it.
Just a Big Fork, Montana, Flathead Lake Brewing.
Which would have been on a trip to see the White Buffalo, but I would have bought this shirt. So
7 degrees of the White Buffalo. Well, this is a...
Yeah, I don't know that I have much more over here that's on the cool side. I mean, I've seen the Cult a few times.
Okay.
And the Cult was good. So the Cult actually opened that Metallica show on the And Justice for All tour, which was a weird opener at that time.
They're a little soft for that, aren't they?
You would think. And then this is the one. So one of the worst shows that I've ever seen is the Cult, and this is at the Centrium in 2008. And you could just it just looked like Ian Asbury could care less to be there. Like, I'm playing Red Deer. All right, go through the motions. But they were fantastic when I saw them open for Metallica. But that show was a little bit of a mail-in.
Got a Skid Row ticket here. Aerosmith with Skid Row. Sorry.
Okay.
For March 1990. Now, Skid Row is also played. They've played.
Well, Sebastian Bach.
Played right. Who's no longer with Skid Row.
No.
He's like a very. He's very much not part of Skid Row anymore, right?
Right.
All I know about Sebastian Bach is he was on some Trailer Park Boys. That's all I know, and they were pretty sweet. He likes.
He meant Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. He's on Gilmore Girls.
Oh, don't even.
I've never watched a single second of Gilmore Girls. Now, I will say there's a cool collection here of Van Halen tickets and this wristband. And if you're looking for a pretty sweet Van Halen story, you can head back to episode, one of our episodes. Go back and listen to them all. Go back and listen to them all. Well, I tried my best to keep these as organized as possible. You did not.
Did what?
Look at this friggin' mess.
I had made.
Yeah, tons of Glorious Sons in there.
Mother.
Also, great show.
I know you don't like the Lumineers, but that Lumineer show was.
Are they put out a new song recently?
They put out a new song a couple of weeks ago, which is really good. There is Monster Truck. Look at all these great Red Deer shows you missed in here. More Glorious Sun shows. Monster Truck with Dusty Tucker.
Hey. Producer Ryan was in that band. Does that have
a date? January 30th, 2014. Do you remember that show? That was it. Would have been at the VAT? Oh, yeah, Beer House. There it is.
A long lost venue here in Red Deer, the International Beer Haus. What are you looking for?
Well, there was. I had a picture in here.
Yes, you do. I have that.
Oh, do you have the picture?
I do have the picture.
Okay. Because I thought we had to go tit for tat.
You outdid. Yeah, I feel like you outdid yourself with this picture.
Well, and that's not even the one that I wanted to bring, but that's the one I could find.
Okay.
So back to
here. You take it. You can tell me about this picture.
Back to Patrick's tick pics.
I haven't even looked at it. I just know I saw. I realized what it was. I put it down.
There was a what was it? Was it a school ID of yours?
Yeah, it was my grade 9 school ID.
Grade 9 school ID with hair
now fully public
out to here. So this is again not exactly the one that I'd wanted to find. I'm going to say this is probably grade 7.
Okay, grade 7. So you don't have. Did you have control over your style at that point in your life?
You can tell I'm just taking over. I'm just starting. So grade 7, Didsbury, whatever school.
Oh my God.
1987.
I mean,
say. It's not the worst, right?
Man, you've really grown up.
The two, see, I that's why the beard's there, to hide all the little zits.
Oh, really?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, there's a couple takeaways here. Trendsetter for the hair, because that hairstyle has come back primarily with hockey bros and jocks.
That
in the
is
last
very
few
much,
years, right?
throw a hockey helmet on that.
I had a high school music teacher that I think on a weekly basis for the whole class we would go to a website dedicated to collecting pictures of awful mullets. And I think this one's pretty good. I
That's
don't think
not
you
the
would have
worst.
made the site. But those glasses have also come back.
So
I think you need to reevaluate your glasses game and get back into these.
So my nickname at that stage in life, which you guys are too young to remember this part of Degrassi, we're going back to the original Degrassi, but my nickname was Wheels.
for
which
Wheelchair Jimmy.
Have you, no, do you guys, have you ever watched the original Degrassis?
No.
Okay,
no.
so Wheels was one of the original students with Snake and yada, yada, yada.
Why? What was?
'Cause that is exactly what he looked like. The big, stupid 80s glasses, the stupid mullet. And that, so when I say this is the period of me starting to take over,
Yeah. What are we
you
talking
can
about
still
here?
see the perm in the mullet a little bit.
Right.
So the perm was not originally my idea.
Okay.
And so it's on its way out. And this is the transition from that to like full mullet to
Okay.
hair down.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the sweater?
Don't ask him about the sweater.
Was that like, hey, it's
That-
picture day, you're putting this friggin' sweater on?
So I screwed myself for picture day in grade 5 because I had, so grade 5, 1985, I had a Slimer shirt, right? Because Ghostbusters is all the rage.
Yeah.
So I had a Slimer shirt that I think is a good shirt to wear for my school picture,
Yeah.
which my parents did not. So I wore whatever it was my mom had put on me, and I brought the Slimer shirt to school.
Oh, okay.
And then so when the picture showed up, I have the Slimer shirt on. So yeah, I didn't get to choose my shirts for a few years after that.
I don't know, man. I think that's
That's not bad. It's like a
No.
kind of like an animalistic kind of
It just goes to show how quickly the styles.
come back, right? Like
Circle,
that's only
right?
5 years ago.
Yes, 5 years ago, Peter had his grade 7 school picture. Well, this is an unreal collection.
So is there anything in there that you're like, oh damn, I wish I had seen that show? Well, I guess Muse.
Yeah, Muse is a big one. That's a big one for me, and it sucks because I like kind of over them over the last decade. Like, haven't really cared too much for their music, so it would have been sweet to see them a few years back. I mean, I gotta say, I'd like to see you two someday, just based on what I know about their production. Despite you walking out of it,
It was a production.
yeah. But other than that,
There's only 257 stubs here. There's got to be something. Oh, we talked about that one, I think, at one point.
yeah, Rain.
show
I
was
I
Rain?
went through a bunch of Rain. So Rain, the elite. I don't know if they still exist. But they are at one point were the #1 Beatles tribute band that must have been going, right? Like, it was a pretty phenomenal thing that they
they
did,
do
actually.
a really, really good job of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
oh, what's this?
Well, I'm just Bryan Adams, Waking Up the Nation, Rain or Shine, Badlands, Big Valley. So this was the original, like there's the Big Valley Jamboree.
Yeah.
And then Stage 13 was out in Camrose in that same. So the Big Valley Jamboree actually started in the actual town of Big Valley or just outside of. So it was Bryan Adams, Sass Jordan, the Steve Miller Band, and Extreme. September 92. So that was the Labor Day long weekend.
Yeah.
And it snowed like a mofo just before the festival. So it actually ended up getting delayed by a
Jeez.
few days. They had to shut it down. Even when the show happened, it was just this big, it wasn't quite Woodstockian,
Yeah.
but it was just this big, huge mud pit.
And
But
it
yeah,
was
so
fun?
the
It
Big
was
Valley,
good?
Big Valley was originally at Big Valley.
Was Bryan Adams in like a muddy like festival situation a good show?
Oh, it's the only way to see Bryan Adams.
Is it? Okay. Is that a good show?
I don't remember a whole lot about the show. 1992, so that would have been grade 12 for me. So I'm pretty sure it was awesome.
Yeah, I went through a weird period too where from at least the first, probably a lot longer than I'd like to admit, but for a good chunk of the pandemic, I was like, I'm cool. I don't feel myself missing live music too much. And I don't know why I felt that way, especially seeing so many great shows, specifically here in Red Deer in the last few years. But, and then I went to a show at Bose. Bose had a big weekend in, I think it was July. And I was like,
I remember even just when we had the
nuts.
static shift in to record the side road sessions
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
being
You're right.
around that live music, just in a small little room like this. It's
God damn it,
nothing
I miss
compares,
it.
right?
Get your shots and let's go see some live music again.
All right, what do we got to look forward to coming up?
What, with the road, the stage?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we don't spill the beans too much on this.
Side
show.
road sessions, a lot of content getting kicked out of the Communal Creative Studios.
Real busy. Shout out to producers Ryan and Ryley, who we will get on this show one of these days.
I thought you were supposed to get a microphone in there.
It's happening.
Yes.
It'll happen one of these days. Shout out to our sponsors, Go Services Inc.,
Sawback Brewery,
Tourism Red Deer,
and Bo's Barn Stage.
the one and only Bo's Barn Stage.
So many,
funny.
like honestly, there's so many stubs in here from Bo's.
And it's only going to get bigger. You're going to need a new bag.
Maybe I can find like this, like a Harry Potter, like maybe like a wand box.
We should see
not
how
just
much.
a stupid little cookie tin.
It was for
Can
soap.
I get like
It was for soap.
soap tin?
We should see what that tin goes for on eBay. Maybe if it's not a collector's item, we'll hook you up with a couple of them for all these goddamn tickets. So many.
I'm gonna need. I'll need something.
Yeah, have fun reorganizing these.
Episodes of The Road, the Stage. Well, before we get into episodes, follow, share, like,
Subscribe to the Bo's Bar and Stage YouTube channel where you can watch all the episodes if you aren't watching them.
review,
Yeah, shoot us some stars.
and get ready for new episodes every
Wednesday.
The Road, the Stage is produced by Ryan Kuly and Ryley Surian at the Communal Creative Studios in Red Deer, Alberta. In partnership with Go Services Inc., Sawback Brewing Co., Tourism Red Deer, and Bo's Bar and Stage.